Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about understanding main idea and supporting details. It is important to understand what the main idea is and how to find it when reading a text. You must also recognize and identify details that support the main idea. Pay close attention so you will understand the difference between the two. So this is the activity, the skill we're going to be working on for our first week of distance learning. I want you to watch this lesson first and listen carefully, and then the activities you do the rest of this week will be about main idea and supporting details. So you can always refer back to this presentation, this lesson, to help you understand if you're confused or you have any questions. So what is the main idea? The main idea of a text tells what the text is mostly about. So when you think about the main idea, I want you to think, what is the big picture of what I read? What is this text mostly about? What is it all about? How can I find the main idea? When you read a paragraph, the sentences are often related to each other, and the sentences are all about the main idea. Where can I find the main idea? Well, there are a few places to find the main idea of the text you are reading. Okay. First, you can find the main idea in the first or second sentence of a paragraph. That's usually where it can be found, but sometimes it can be found in the middle or end of the paragraph. Think about when you write an essay in class in third grade. You always start your essay with a topic sentence, and that's what a lot of writers do also. And the topic sentence tells the reader what the text is about. So a lot of times the first sentence or two will tell you what the main idea is because it's explaining what the paragraph is about. Other times, the main idea is not stated in a single sentence, and instead, all of the details suggest the main idea. And the reader must figure it out like a detective by asking key questions like, what is this about? What is happening? How is this connected? So when you are reading and you're trying to figure out the main idea, you want to ask yourself those questions. What is this text about? What is happening in this text? How is this connected? So now, what are details? The other sentences in a paragraph tell more about the main idea. These sentences give supporting details. So a supporting detail might be an example of the main idea, a fact about the main idea, or a description of the main idea. Supporting details fill in information about the main idea and make the paragraph more interesting to read. So supporting detail gives you more information about what you're reading. Sometimes there are visuals that can help us understand a certain skill. And here is a graphic organizer that is commonly used to identify the main idea and supporting details of a book, text, or topic. So when you look at this graphic organizer, you can think of it like a table and the legs of a table that are supporting the top of the table, right? This is the main part of the table, the main idea, and these supporting legs are the supporting details. So we're going to use this graphic organizer to help us organize our thinking when we read a text and think about the main idea and supporting details. So we're going to read a short paragraph that gives us true information. And I want you to be thinking about all of the details in this text and what the big idea it is supporting. A beehive consists of about 20,000 bees on average. Within the hive, there are 3 types of bees, and each has an important job. There is only one queen bee in each hive, and her job is to fill the hive with eggs. In fact, she will lay about 1,500 eggs per day. Drones are male bees, and their only job is to mate with the queen bee. Worker bees are female bees that cannot lay eggs. They stay very busy tending the hive. They will build the honeycombs, clean the hive, and take care of the queen bee and the babies. Worker bees will also collect nectar and pollen for the hive. So, what is the main idea? What are the details? Let's use our graphic organizer to organize our thinking. So, the main idea of that paragraph is that there are 3 types of bees in a hive, and each has an important job. And if you were paying attention, that information is given to you in the first 2 sentences of the paragraph, like we talked about earlier. Our first supporting detail is about one of the jobs, one of the bees in the hive and her important job. So there's one queen bee in each hive, and she fills the hive with many eggs. Our second detail is about another type of bee and his job. Male bees, called drones, mate with the queen bee. And our last supporting detail is about the third type of bee and its job, her jobs. Worker bees are female. They take care of the hive and collect food. So as you can see, these 3 supporting details give more information about the main idea. So let's practice some more. I want you to take a look at these words, and I want you to think about how these words are related. What could be the main idea that includes these words? So here are your words: ocean, river, lake, stream, creek. So I want you to think to yourself right now, think, how are these words related? Okay. So each of those words names a different body of water. So if that's what you were thinking, you are correct. So the main idea will be about this. It will be about different bodies of water. So our main idea is there are many different bodies of water, and our supporting details explain about those different words. Okay, so oceans are large water bodies made up of salt water. That gives us more information about the word oceans. The Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean on Earth. Lakes can be small or large and can be made up of salt or fresh water. Streams and creeks are small bodies of fresh water that often feed into a larger body of fresh water called a river. Okay, let's practice that again. You're going to look at a group of words and figure out how they are related. Telephone, radio, computer, telegram, TV. I want you to think, how are these words related? If you have a buddy at your house, like your mom or dad or sister or brother or aunt, uncle, grandmom, grandpa, whoever, you can turn and talk with them. If not, you can just share it out loud or in your brain. How are these 5 words related? So the relationship of these words is that they're different forms of communication or ways to communicate, past and present. So old ways of communicating and new ways, current ways of communicating. So if that's what you were thinking, you were correct. If not, it's okay. We still have lots of practice ahead of us. So now you're going to see 4 photographs, and I want you to think about how these photos are related. Here they are. And I want you to look at these photos, these pictures carefully, and I want you to think to yourself, how are these pictures related? What's the main idea of these pictures? Again, if you have someone at your house, you can share with them. If you're doing this by yourself, that's fine too. Just think to yourself, how are these pictures related? Give you some think time. Okay, so the relationship of these photos is that there are many things you might see while at the beach. These are all pictures of things that are at the beach. So let's practice again. Again, I want you to take a look at these pictures and I want you to think to yourself, how are these pictures related? Give you some think time again and share time if you're sharing with someone at your house. Okay, the relationship between these pictures is when it's cold out, there are activities you can do with or in the snow. We have someone having a snowball fight, someone skiing, someone on a sled, and someone building a snowman. So now we're going to move on from pictures to details. Okay. You will read some details, and I want you to pay attention to what these details are trying to explain. I want you to think, how are these details related? What could be the main idea of these details? I'll read them out loud to you. Our first detail is a butterfly lays an egg. The egg hatches into a caterpillar. The caterpillar eats and eats. The caterpillar makes a cocoon. The butterfly will emerge from the cocoon, and the butterfly lays an egg. So think, how are these details related? What could be the main idea with these details? So if you were thinking to yourself or sharing with someone at home that these are the steps in the life cycle of a butterfly, there are steps in the life cycle of a butterfly, you are correct. That would be the main idea of these details. That's how these details are all related. Let's practice again. Take a look at these details and think to yourself, how are these details related? Ants can carry more than 100 times their own body weight. Ants can run nearly 800 times their body length a minute. Ants have been photographed carrying dead baby bird. Gross. So I want you to think to yourself, how are these details related? What do you think they're trying to tell you about ants? If you were thinking that the relationship is that ants are very small insects, but they are actually really strong, you would be correct. This is telling about how strong ants are, what they can carry, and this is about how fast they are. So they're all related by explaining how ants are small but strong. Okay, so now I want you to take a look at this image. What does this image describe or support? What could be the main idea of this image, and what details can support the main idea? The main idea of this image could be that the United States of America is a country. And here are some possible supporting details. Now, you might have thought of something different because there are a lot of different things um, that could support the main idea. The United States of America is a country, but here are a few. The United States of America is a country in the continent of North America. There are 50 states in the United States of America. The capital of the United States of America is in Washington, D.C. The United States of America is led by a president, and over 300 million people live in the United States of America. So these 5 supporting details all give more information about the United States of America being a country. Okay. So let's take a look at these sentences, and I want you to think to yourself, how are these sentences related? Let's think about what big idea these sentences support. Breakfast eaters tend to have fewer weight problems than those who skip a meal. People who don't eat breakfast usually eat too much later in the day, and often these foods are not healthy. People who eat a balanced breakfast are likely to be healthier than those who don't. So, how are these sentences related? Each sentence supports that breakfast is important for a person's health. We know this because the sentences link back to the main idea that eating breakfast and your health are related. The main idea is not explicitly stated within the sentences. You have to make an inference. So a lot of times, like we've been doing just now, all these practices, you have had to make an inference. You've had to make a good guess using what you know and what the information is giving you, what information you have to make an inference. So let's read this paragraph. We're going to read a short paragraph that gives us true information, and your job is to think about the main idea of this paragraph. Lions live together in social groups called prides. There are mostly female lions, called lionesses, and their babies, called cubs, in a pride. The lionesses share the job of raising the cubs and hunting. Hunting in a group allows lions to kill animals much larger than themselves. A lot of the food killed by a pride is taken by the males. In return, the lions provide protection from other males. Each pride has a territory or space designated to them to live. When lions in a pride meet, they greet one another by head rubbing, licking, and grooming. So think to yourself, what is the main idea of this paragraph? What are all of these sentences about? How are they related? So what is the main idea? In this paragraph, the main idea is found right in the first sentence. Lions live together in social groups called prides. So a lot of times, readers can find the main idea in the first few sentences of a text, just like in this one. So now we're going to read another short paragraph, and I want you to think about what is the main idea of this paragraph. Typically, you may see a guide dog leading blind people around. However, some people use guide horses. These miniature horses are trained just like guide dogs are trained. Guide horses can respond to more than 25 commands. They can see very well in the dark. When they need to go out to use the bathroom, they are trained to tap on the door with their hoof. A guide horse has even flown on an airplane with a blind man before. Guide horses are clever animals that can help lead the blind. Think about what is the main idea of this paragraph. So what's the main idea? In this paragraph, the main idea is found in the last sentence. Guide horses are clever animals that can help lead the blind. All of those sentences before give you more information about guide horses and how they help lead the blind. So we're going to learn some information about an animal now. Think about the details you read and what the main idea they can support. So I'm going to read you the paragraph that question and answer choices. And I will tell you the answer, but I want you to try and guess on your own at home. First, some animals spend a lot of time in the water. One example is the hippopotamus. The name of this large African animal means river horse. On hot days, you will find a hippo spending several hours in lakes and rivers. Only a hippo's eyes, ears, and nostrils can be seen above the water. This will help the hairless animal from getting sunburned. The hippo does get out of the water at night to find larger plants to eat, but it eats many water plants. If the water is ever low, hippos will roll their bodies in mud to prevent from drying out. So the main idea of this paragraph is either A, a hippopotamus is a river horse, B, hippos live in Africa, C, hippos spend a lot of time in the water, or D, hippos eat land and water plants. So I want you to think about which of these, A, B, C, or D, do all of these sentences support? The correct answer is C. Hippos spend a lot of time in the water. All of the details in the text are related to the importance of water in a hippo's day. Let's practice again. This time we're going to be practicing with the details. So now that we determine the main idea, which of these sentences is a detail? A detail that supports the main idea is A, water plants are good for hippos. B, water protects a hippo's skin from the sun. C, sunburn is a problem for many animals. Or D, a hippo is from Africa. So you should choose the answer that explains more about hippos spending a lot of time in water. Which answer would tell you that? Which gives you more information about the main idea? The correct answer is B. Water protects a hippo's skin from the sun. This sentence helps explain why hippos spend a lot of time in the water. So this is the end of our lesson. This is all you have to do today for Monday. For the rest of the week, your activities are going to be about main idea and supporting details. So if you need some help or you want to rewatch this to refresh the information in your brain, you can absolutely do that. Okay, I hope everyone is staying safe and having a great week.